Hello, your life coach Mary Nawabi at Finding Solutions for Everyday Life Challenges. And thank you for watching my video blog for this week. I want to talk about emotions this week because I believe it's huge for a lot of us. What are emotions? Emotions are caused by motion. Motions such as fear, love, joy, sadness, anger, and depending on what experiences we've had so far in our lifetime, determines the level of emotionally fit we are. The best way you can measure how emotionally fit you are is to, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being very emotionally fit and 1 being not emotionally fit at all, is you can measure yourself to see where you stand. And the best way you can tell how emotionally fit you are as a person is, what are your normal days? Are you going through a lot of ups and downs emotionally? Is it like if you have a scratch on your skin and if I come and touch your scratch, you're going to probably not get bothered by it so much. But if you have a big scab on your skin and if I come and touch it by a feather, you're going to jump out of your skin. And that's how you can measure to see how emotionally fit you are. And all of these emotions, negative, gets built up throughout our lifetime. As long as you go back as a child and you can remember the experiences you've had as a child, if those were negative, and if you don't deal with those negative emotions, they get built up over time. And gets built up, gets built up, gets built up, and then it gets to a level that when you are as an adult, you don't know on the conscious level how you're reacting to those negative emotions, but you are. So if you don't deal with those negative emotions, you could become a very emotional person. And especially in our culture and all humankind cultures, we're not trained to deal with our negative emotions. It's a taboo, and everyone talks about it in such a way that you shouldn't be dealing with it, just put it aside, forget about it. And so kind of forgetting about it, it doesn't actually get forgotten. It just gets pushed back at the deep level, gets pushed back, and then another negative emotion sits on top of that, another negative emotion sits on top of that. So you build this habit, this pattern of not knowing how to deal with negative emotions. So every negative emotions you collect, you put it on top of the other one, on top of the other one, and then it gets to a point that any small thing in life will tick you off. So it is the best way to actually start journaling. That's the best way you can actually start noticing how emotional you are as a person. You can journal throughout the day to see at work, at family life, to see how upset you get over small or big issues. And it can determine how emotionally you are. And the second step would be, once you determine how emotional person you are in every aspect of your life, because it's how you are in one aspect of your life, that's how you are in every other aspect of your life, because that gets carried over in your relationship, the relationships you have with your parents, the relationships you have with your children, with your spouse, at work. So it all gets carried over everywhere. So the best possible way is to journal and figure out to see if you are emotional, and then how you react to those emotions. Do you get really sad, angry? Do you really can't handle the negative part of it and you go out and party and drink and smoke? Or do you tend to eat? Because we all build a certain pattern that we want to we don't know any other way how to handle it except we try on external sources to give us the joy and happiness. Because in life, it is important to be happy and joyful. And if you don't deal with your emotions at the deep level, you are not going to be a happy person. And if you don't wake up in the morning and you're not jolly and happy and really grateful that you're living your life, then I would think about what emotions do you have at the deeper level that's holding you back. Because most of these emotions, if you think about it, it's like carrying big bags of rocks on your back. And depending on the level of negative emotion you have dealt with or you've had in your life, the bigger the bag, because everyone's different. Someone might have gone through, physical, verbal, or sexual abuse. That might be very deep for them. Somebody else might be just throughout their lifetime, they always had to compete with siblings and they were never enough. Because if you really look at siblings, there are some competition amongst them, and one always feels like that person is not enough. You may receive love from parents, but you may not feel significant enough. So depending on the level of negative emotion you've had in your lifetime, it will determine the amount of baggage you carry. So if your bags are really full of rocks and every day you're moving and you're carrying those on your back, it puts a strain on you, and it makes you feel tired and it makes you feel unhappy. So the more you go inside those bags and take those rocks and throw them out and empty your bag, that's how you would feel as a person, very light and happy and jolly. And why am I saying all of these things and sharing these experiences? Because I've gone through it myself. I used to be a very emotional person a long time ago, till I actually figured it out to see what are these emotions caused by. Because everything we do in life has a reason. And once you find out the reason and figure out some solution and strategies, then you can solve all of those issues. Recently, I had the pleasure of helping my own mother. She had been suffering from depression for almost 12 years. And all she thought was, well, it's by default. The doctors say that it's an chemical imbalance in your body. Yes, of course it's a chemical imbalance, because what you're focusing on determines how depressed you are. Because if you're focusing on all the negatives, it eats away all of your serotonin, melatonin inside your body that produces the happiness and balanced life. So of course that's what you're focusing on. That's what you're going to get, and your body's going to get out of balance. So till she actually realized that, to see what she's focusing on and to change that pattern and physiology and focus, and you can actually snap out of depression like this. So that was very rewarding for myself to see my mom recover from that. So anybody else can do the same thing, is just knowing what strategies you can put in place. So if you have some kind of not easiness about certain types of negative emotions that you felt in your lifetime, and if you want to share some thoughts and ideas, please feel free. You can always send me a private message on Facebook or on my blog, and we can always talk about it, or make a general question. Could be about somebody else, and I can always help you. And if you need a one-on-one help with the life coach, let me know as well. And please feel free to reach out. Until next time, thank you very much. And always remember that there's always a solution for every situation in life.